Hey, mamas, welcome to episode 86 of the Happier in Motherhood podcast. So today I have my partner in life, in love, business, all the things. Mr. Kirk Saffle is back on the show again. And today we're going to be talking about kind of like just everything that's been happening in our lives since we moved to Florida, our family vision, and how things have really shifted for us. We got really unaligned, misaligned, some not aligned, disaligned earlier this spring. And what we've been doing to get back on track. We hope you guys love this episode, and we're going to just go ahead and jump right in. So we're so glad you're here. So, hey, Kirk.
Hi.
Hi. It's like I haven't seen you all day.
No, you've seen me all day.
I know. We have seen each other all day. So we moved to Florida last fall, and we decided to kind of reorient our lives into being a little bit more stationary and less of the full-time travel, though we're still in the travel vibes. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. But what has it been like getting settled here in Florida, kind of the vibe here? How has it been for you, our family? I mean, I know how it's been for me, but
it's been, pretty incredible, because we've been talking about doing this for years, about being close to the ocean, about enjoying the water and the wildlife that's that is encompasses the ocean. And so for us, being around water in general is just a big deal for us. So it's been beautiful for that. The weather's been incredible. We've been able to I could walk around shirtless, maybe not everybody, but most of
I don't walk around shirtless.
Typically. Yeah. And so it's just been good. It's just been the buzz of life has just been kind of cooled off, I guess, for a while.
Yeah. It's been so good to be here. It's obviously warm. We get to have that time by the ocean, which has been so important to us because we spent so many years landlocked in the middle of the country, which is not actually a big deal. We loved those seasons of life for what they were, but it's I think we've just realized that we really thrive where there's tons of sunshine and we can get in the water multiple times a week, which we've kind of learned for native Floridians is not normal. They never go to the beach.
Yeah, it is strange, kind of silly, because and then they always complain about the tourists and the roads and the prices and all this stuff. And I'm just it's hey, complain towns up north,
Yeah. And
no, I'm just kidding. But it is funny to see, whenever you get used to an area, you just kind of just get settled down into your little home and you don't enjoy the reason why you maybe went there. So, but we've been trying to really stay focused on, having that regular adventure time, this is not, yes, homeschooling, yes, work, yes, business growth, all this stuff, but gotta tie in the rest of it. The dream.
Well, and it really is this massive reset. I find if we're feeling really off, we're having a hard week, or everyone's just fighting and funky, we can just go drive 20 minutes and get to the ocean and find a spot right away and just jump in. And it's a total reset button. It's just been so amazing.
It's been pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's been pretty awesome.
But it has been a transition moving out of the full-time travel life. We had some bumps along the road this past fall, which I had talked a bit about in my episode, Breakdown and Breakthrough. I can't remember the number, so you're going to have to go look it up if you want to listen to it. But we had a bit of a rocky patch this past fall, that has really influenced where we're at today. And my gosh, it's just so much has shifted even in just the last week or two. It feels exciting and it's been a lot though.
Yeah, it has. But we've talked about this. You and I, in our background, we talk a lot about, what comes out of you mentioned breakdowns, but what comes out of that. It's like in the past, our cycle was to just have a moment or a really bad moment, maybe several bad moments, maybe a period of lots of bad moments, and then just change something on the external, and then just cycle right back through it and do it all over again, and then have to change something else external. But what's different now is that like we're actually changing on the inside, like and this has been a process. This has not just this breakdown,
like
but
years of doing
process.
all of the like the healing work, the inner work, the mindset work, all of the work. But you're so right. It was like, there were so many years of the pattern, right? And maybe some of you can resonate with that, of like, you do the same thing over and over, you think you're moving out of it, and then you loop back around and you do the pattern again. And so we've been working really hard to like have that awareness around like, what are our patterns and what are we doing? And so like this past fall, I did some deep inner work, like some crazy shit came up for me. It was like,
if you can imagine, like if your soul had scales on it or some kind of scab or something, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something really bad.
Sounds gross.
And then you're just like peeling that back, and you just like to heal properly. Like I've, used to be in the medical field. So certain surgeries, sometimes you have to come in there and like remove scar tissue for things to heal back correctly. And it just really seemed like that. And it seemed like kind of bad for a moment, not like as bad or as deep or as horrible or whatever as maybe I've experienced in the past, or I can't speak for how you felt in the past, but
it was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad and
rough,
but it's like it was just stripping that away, and you were just like, kind of bare. But
there was like a rebuilding that came out of it, but it was like when you're in the thick of that, right? Like you can't see, you don't have the perspective of time. Like now I can look back on that and be like, oh my gosh, like it makes sense why I felt the way that I did, why it got so hard there for a little while. And I was really struggling, like, and I've had that perspective to see like it all had a purpose. Like if you ever do this work, that it's not easy as you're going through it, but ultimately like it does have a really powerful purpose. It's necessary because otherwise we're living on the surface, we're shallow, and we're not dealing with like the undercurrent that's influencing all of our, like our emotional state and the actions that we take. And so because of that, right, it has been this like massive period now for me of just this like quantum leap is just like blooming. Like I just feel myself about to blow everything up in the best possible way. Right. But I like kind of burnt it down there for a little bit.
Well, and what's crazy is that I've said this to you repeatedly over the last like multiple weeks in a row. I was just like, whenever she'd say something or act a certain way, I was in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, there's a potential spiral situation, and of course I wouldn't like say that out loud. That's pretty screwed up. Maybe I've said it sometimes, but in my mind I'm like, okay, she said that, and what's the magic sauce or the special phrase, or what's the coaching I need to give her right now? But I didn't really have to. Like you just kind of you took on whatever blow it was, and then you were just like, you just let it like dissipate and flow past you. And then you're just upright and then just continued to grow and grow and grow. It was pretty powerful to see that. I've seen you do massive growth, but it's just like something's happened where it's just like you're going deeper and where you're responding, like the response to stimuli is not the same. It's changed. And so the fear response or anger or whatever we've been married for almost 15 years. Okay, let's just be real, folks. We're not all perfect here. Okay, so sometimes there's fear, there's anger, there's if you know me, I'm a silly goose, and also I get kind of angry pretty easily sometimes, and
passionate person.
I'm passionate, so and so I might be hard to deal with. Who knows? I mean, I know I'm difficult to manage myself, so I can't imagine how you feel. But all that to say, you've just taken it whatever's come your way, you've just taken it and it's just kind of dissipated, gone past you. Like,
Well,
just a moment passing by,
the big thing, I think the big thing that came out of that period was that I took a little bit of a break from getting coaching of any kind for myself, which sounds like counter to what I do. I mean, obviously we are both coaches, right? We believe so strongly in our work and what we do. And I believe that like everybody benefits from long-term mentorship, but I had been under mentorship for almost 2 years straight with the same person who was an incredible influence in my life. But I felt this need to like have a clearing space and a break. And even this honestly came up with one of my long-term clients where we've been taking a break, and it's been so good for her to have that time, like on her own, to support herself and to really see like how capable she is. And it was the same thing for me too. And so I had this space to like let everything settle, all of the subconscious work I did, and just be with it. And then I really began developing and experimenting with all of these tools and like modalities to keep my nervous system calm, so that the things in the past that normally triggered me, like they just don't trigger me anymore. And it is like wild, you guys. Yeah. And then I started working with a new business coach, which has been like, amazing.
Yeah. I'm excited for you. So, and you're teaching me, so I'm learning a lot too. And it's like a benefit in our relationship and whatever work we're building and the vision that we have. So,
well, should we talk about like what came out of that breakdown period? We made a decision.
Why don't you lead the way? Because I want to make sure I say the right thing.
We made a decision.
What came out of the breakdown? Or I don't know if we want to call it a breakdown. It wasn't like she wasn't hospitalized or anything like that.
It's true.
It was
a very rough patch.
It was just it was just an emotional turmoil. It was an internal turmoil.
Yeah.
And it was hard to tell day to day what was gonna, come to the surface.
I didn't even know, to be honest. I didn't even know.
So you tell me. I don't want to tell you until I, hear what you have to say, so that I can just pick what I want to say.
I mean, I would say like the big thing that came out of that was that I felt very insecure in a lot of different ways. Like I was struggling with insecurity and uncertainty. And when you own a business, like it's risky AF. Like it's risky owning a business. Like I have supported our family financially since August 2020. And when I was going through all of this emotional upheaval, it was impacting my business results. And I felt scared. Like I felt uncertain about what the future was going to look like. And so Kirk, you kind of came in and you're like, listen, I can get a sales job because that's what he used to do. And he's like, I can get a sales job and like take some of this pressure off of you. And I was like, amazing. Right? Like it's hard when you're the solo provider. And so Kirk came in and decided to get a job. Right. And this was like, you guys, like we had COVID in December and as a family, like pretty much the entire month. So we're like sick. We're making decisions. It's Christmas time. Yeah. It was kind of wild.
It was rough. Yeah. And I had, applied, gotten the job, then like COVID hit. And then I was like basically brain dead for a while.
Yeah.
It really disrupted the whole onboarding process for me. Like it was like, I felt like I was a fraction of my capacity emotionally, physically, intellectually. So that was a barrier. And then it was, I was really looking for something that was, 20, 30 hours, and it ended up being, over 40. So, so we really had to just,
it's like 40 to
schedule,
50.
shift hours, all this stuff. And all the while we're like,
what are we doing?
What is this plan here? We hit the road to travel. We hit the road to spend more time
freedom
together, freedom and all this stuff. So it was, when you have internal turmoil, sometimes even if you teach other people the perfect tools, sometimes you don't always utilize them. So
yeah. And I feel like at the time we were just trying to make the best decision that we could with what we had.
Sometimes you just take the next
And
best
so,
step. I think I heard that in a Disney movie once.
Yeah. But it was crazy because he, like you said, he was working way more than we expected. And so we hired 2 babysitters to help us.
Mm-hmm.
They were coming 4 days a week, which was honestly, it was kind of awesome to have that help. They were homeschooling our kids, and like, that felt so good to just have that support for a couple of months. But what ended up happening was I was like, okay, I have to really scale back my business, which is like the thing you never want to do when you have momentum in your business, is to put the brakes on it. And it was this weird place of like, oh, I don't know. What do we do? There's not enough hours in the day for him to be working 40 to 50 hours a week and me to be doing like 20 to 30 in my business. So I started to kind of scale it back, and that did not feel good.
No,
that was like not the right move.
That was like
at all.
Well, that was like an anti-move. That was like a, giving in type of move. So. Yeah.
But the thing was though, that like we realized was that I started redesigning my business. Okay. So like I've always had a full, like I've been fully booked with private clients since like December 2020. Okay. So it's been a while that I've always had a full load, which has been such a blessing. And I'm so grateful for these women that I've gotten to serve and I've gotten to coach. But doing, 15 or more coaching calls per week, it's an energetic load to carry all of that for my clients and to give the level of service and care that I want to give, right? Like, this is not like a coaching mill for me. This is like my life's work, and I want to care for my mamas. And so him taking this job, in a weird way, it actually helped me realize that it was important to me to take less clients and make sure that the service is like, it is utterly transformative, which is an overused word in this industry. And yet it is still the experience that I want to give. And so that was kind of like the silver lining, was that I began cutting back my private coaching list, not taking new clients and like letting people fall off. And visualizing a way to serve on a much bigger capacity and help more women at a more accessible price point. So honestly, like, in a weird way, this has been really good for my business.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I think the effort to results ratio has adjusted too, because, whenever you're creating work or a product or doing anything from the right energy, it's like you could be using 10% of your emotional load or whatever and have such a dramatic, improvement. And that's kind of what we saw. You had a little bit less time spent, and you were like less emotionally pulled in all these different directions. And instead of everything just kind of withering away, it actually sprung out. It actually, burst forth, and a bunch of ideas came. Your, coaching improved, or at least you thought you did. And who knows, ladies, you tell us if it's getting any better. Obviously,
oh my gosh,
it's not performative.
I feel so vulnerable right now.
But like, it's a lot has burst forth whenever you pull back. It's like that winter, where the plants, pull back, and they, put all the nutrients into the root, and they just survive it. And then all of a sudden spring hits and just blow out. That's That's what I saw.
I planted some tulips and they're blossoming.
That's right.
I don't know. I got a tulip garden going on.
Yeah.
So
we didn't plan a metaphor here, so
this was not intentional. It was. You're gonna write that one down to save for later. No. It was not that good. It was. Anyway. Yeah. So we realized that this was not working for us, like, at all.
Well, you had pulled back, things had gotten, you had some stability. Yeah. Then once you have stability, then you look around, dust starts to settle, and all of a sudden the clarity starts to hit.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
That's where.
For sure. Yeah. But we were like, okay, so you're working 40 to 50 hours a week.
Yeah.
And I don't have the time and the space in my week to create, because I'm a creator too. Like I've realized I fully embrace, like I love creating on Instagram. Like I love being in it with you guys and like sharing and kind of walking that like content creator, influencer, coach line. And I wasn't getting that time. And also we weren't getting the time as a family, which is like bottom line, non-negotiable for us.
Yep. Yeah. So just like I think any couple should do, you have to reevaluate where you're at. I mean, you have to, take a log of this is what's changed, this is what's happening. And at the end of the day, I mean, we talk a lot in our family about the vision, like what is the thing that we're after as a family and as individuals. Like I have stuff I'm individually after, and I have to, hang on to that and share it when I can. And you have things that are individually important to you, and you hang on to that and try to share. But that's only part of us,
right?
Like the rest of us is, the universal or whatever. I don't want to say that. The family, local, the family is like, that's like we all have our vision together, and that's when you're a couple and if you have clarity, if you're able to chill out and take a deep breath, write out what your thoughts are, write out what's important to you, look back at what was at your prior meetings and whatever else you've had together, and say like, hey, this is definitely in the direction, it's just we need to tweak it, or man, we're like going this is we're getting off our path north here, so.
Well, I mean, like there were things you were sacrificing for yourself, like because you were working so much, you weren't getting time to like work out or play music, which are values of yours. I was doing the bare minimum in my business and not getting a lot of personal time for me, which is important to me. I realized like I need a lot of time to recharge. But then like we set out to travel so we could have time and location freedom.
Yep.
And now we've got ourselves stuck back in that grind and realizing like there's always that temptation to go backwards and do this, the last thing you remember that worked.
Yeah. The last thing that felt good.
Well, I don't even know if the sales felt good to you before, but it was like, it was like what was familiar. Right. And so just the brain is like, oh, I can do that again. I could go back and like repeat that thing, but like, I can't go back.
No, I mean, ultimately there's nothing wrong with sales. There's nothing wrong with work. There's nothing wrong with any of that. It's just the steps that we were taking just weren't part of the vision. Like I like to work.
Yeah.
I like to work, talk to people all day. I like these things, but you're right. It was disrupting, at least how we were doing it was disrupting the vision of our family and for myself. And obviously it impacted you too.
Well, and I'm curious too, like you love to work, but like what kind of work? Do you know what I mean? Like, does all work fulfill that same need, or does it depend on the kind of work?
Yeah. I mean, obviously it depends on the work. I mean, I like making connection and helping people. That's a big part for me. But I also like the independence. I like, there were aspects. I mean, basically if you're a salesperson, if you're at a certain level, you're taking on that business and you're saying, this is my business,
right?
Like they have the product, but I'm, generating the customers, doing all the, following up, doing it like if you treat it like it's your own business, you can be a success at it. But I wanted to apply that to my own thing. So, and to our thing, and to grow in this other direction. This was like 3 or 4 months of working on somebody else's vision.
Oh my gosh, which is
fine. Sometimes you have to do it. Sometimes you have to get, sometimes capital's got to be there. Sometimes steps have to be taken, sometimes for a season, you have to bust it for somebody else's vision so that you can realize your own. But man, it's like this, right? But like
what did you realize is your vision then? Like what kind of came out of deciding to quit the sales job?
Mm-hmm.
What is the next? Is there a next?
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one, our family vision, like being able to spend that time with the family.
Right.
That's one, right? And the second thing was being fully able to just pick up the camper and you know, head west or go north or go wherever we want, you know, throw a dart at the, you know, at the map and go from there. And not worry about constant Wi-Fi signals so I can, you know, close a deal or something.
Yeah.
And this is just, you know, for what's for me. But then also, you know, I've taken clients on before and I loved it. And
for coaching.
Yes. And, you know, we talked a lot about it. I mean, I had the training, I've taken on clients and I just kind of let that go for not really, you know, I'm not really, you know, looking back, it was not really sure why, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I think too, there was kind of like a point there where we're like, which this was a limiting belief, but like only one business can really thrive, right? Like we need to put all of our energy into one of the businesses. And since mine was farther ahead, like let's put it all into mine. But I think we're realizing that there's actually like a lot of compatibility between our businesses and what we do when we get to like serve in this very unified way. Yeah.
Well, and true. I mean, me helping men and then maybe eventually in the future, us, you know, converging onto something. Who knows? Actually, I know, but future telling. But it's we just, I don't know, going back to the vision, what we want, and you know, me helping men find their family vision and their personal vision, and you know, stepping into their masculine selves and being like the freaking badass men that they are, you know. Like,
and it's so needed.
Yeah. So that's what I'm excited to start. Well, I've already started doing. I'm taking clients and I've already, it's already moving forward. I just like, you know, ended one thing and just all of a sudden made it known and it's already moving forward. So that's
feels very good.
I know.
I'm so excited for you. And I'm so excited because it's like you have a gift. Yeah. You know, like we coach in different ways. And also like you are such a powerful coach. Like I've witnessed your coaching, and I've also like Kirk coached me what was that, like last week? Oh man, like kind of calling me out on playing small and helping me like expand what's possible for me, you know, because like, here's the thing is I'm in it to grow $1 million business. Like I'm tracking toward that. And this isn't just like, I want to make $1 million to make $1 million. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a money thing as much as it's a possibility of showing what's possible for moms to do when they're also being intentional in motherhood and they're cultivating all of that at the same time, but also because I want to serve as many women as possible and help them rise up and be powerful in their families and have impact in the world. And that's what that truly represents to me. Yeah. I'm probably speaking for everybody here, but we all see it in you. So it's, thanks, I've seen it as soon as I saw you walking across that pool when I first met you. I knew this chick like had some kind of magic sauce and I wanted to be involved with it. Yeah. And just, I don't know. It sounded okay. Anyway, but I was just, you can tell, I could just, there's the aura, you know, and not just success, but just that thing that you just want to be a part of. That maybe that's not always money, but you had that from the beginning, and everybody who's met you has said the same thing. And when it comes to business, like everybody sees you helping a lot of people. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm so excited for it. I'm really excited to be part of it. Also, I'm learning from you. Like you're helping all these women, but like, I mean, I'm learning from you too. I was fortunate enough to say the right thing in the right way the other night, and I've learned how to communicate. It was really good, you guys. Like it was so good. Like he blew my mind, and I was like,
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was like the best coaching I've gotten in a while. And I didn't even have to pay for it, which was like,
see, I can be empathetic, no, it's good. And that was a great moment. I was just grateful to be a part of it, but you've been doing the same thing for me. So, hey, that means I'm going to be badass too, because I got you. You helping me out, so.
Yeah. But this is the thing is like, I think at the end of the day, what we are trying to say is that like, it feels so damn good to be on the same page with your partner, to have a shared vision, and to like wholeheartedly support one another. Yes. Like, even when you fight, even when it's hard, even when you don't always totally agree, if you have that shared vision, you have those values that act as your foundation, like it will always bring you home at the end of the day.
Yeah. I 100% agree. And I just, that's the thing. I always, when we're talking about relationships and stuff, I always think about coaches, because I've talked to a lot of them, and some of them aren't the best people. They might be helping you, they might be doing a great job, but they're not always the best. And I'm going to say the same thing for myself. Like, I'm helping men, but that doesn't mean I'm perfect. It doesn't mean that I'm just, I have the perfect thing to say to my wife and my kids all the time. I yelled at my kids this morning, and she had to like tell me to zip it up and apologize and all this stuff.
Well, it's really hard to teach math decimals, calmly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
so
it was rounding. It was a rounding issue. Anyway, it was me. So, we're in process. Something that we talk about is when it comes to coaching or what we're trying to do to help people, it's like, it's the process. There's no arriving
destination.
There's no destination, because
it really, like, if someone is presenting that online, you should be suspicious.
I would say.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that we're like, this is something I've been telling my coaching clients, especially my business mamas, like the ones who are, active on social media. And it's like 2022, we're here for authenticity and realness, and like, not like buzz authenticity, but like you actually being a leader by one, embodying what you teach, and two, being real about what you are going through and what you're experiencing, because there's as much growth and lessons for your people in your failures and vulnerabilities as it is in your successes. And we can't always just be sharing the successes and not sharing the whole picture.
No, because the reality is this: if I'm helping somebody overcome a porn addiction, right? That doesn't stop all because they hadn't watched porn for 90 days. That's a continual process that they have to address. If you're dealing with anger, right? That doesn't just disappear forever all because you learned some tactics and stuff, and now you are
took a workshop or something.
This is the process of becoming. This is the process. And it's you may get to a point where maybe you don't need constant support from somebody, and maybe you just need intermittent support. Maybe you just want to take a break and try something else. But at the end of the day, like, this is helping people become, just step on to the belt or conveyor belt or whatever, step onto whatever it is.
The treadmill? No, not a treadmill. No.
And start the process.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And whenever somebody backpedals and steps back and goes back to their old ways or whatever, you say, hey,
we're not doing that.
You're actually not your old self. You are actually the new person. And all you did was just step right back on. You know what it's like. And so this is what we're helping people with, but this is what we help each other with. So
totally. It's amazing.
It is incredible.
Yeah. I was so glad we're back. Like, it feels so good. So today was like essentially day one of you not working the old job. And it's like, it feels so good. I'm so grateful. Yeah. Well, it's basically done, which is amazing. I'm so grateful.
Me too.
Well, I am so grateful that you were here with me on the show. I have a request.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Would you be willing to play a song? You guys know, so Kirk is also a musician, right? Like, this has been a big part of your story. And I think we talked about it probably on your other episode a lot more. So did we? Maybe. Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe go back and listen to that. He's got an EP on the internets, and Yeah, I want to hear one of your new songs.
Sure.
Let's like light it up here for a minute.
Okay, cool.
What do you think?
Yeah, I have something from 2017, which
Dude,
I'll be making something new.
You're gonna make a new album this year. Yeah.
This year?
I don't know.
We'll see. I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna lean back.
Oh, sorry about that. That's a bump. Okay. One here.
You know, I can't ever remember the titles of your songs. The Star one. That one?
Stardust.
Is it that one?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay.
Lost with a vision that blew a hole in my mind. Spinning your loss, but you were by my side. I nearly missed the fire that burned behind your eyes, singing, oh, this is where we fell in love. Falling star, I'm a traveler. Oh man, for you, been around the world for you. But I need someone who knows my heart. Heaven knows that's hard to find. I need someone to mend these broken parts, pick me up when I'm left behind. Just stardust in my hand. This is where we fell in love. Falling star, I'm a traveler. I'm mad for you, been around the world for you. This is where we fell in love. This is where we fell in love. This is where we fell in love. This is where we fell in love.
Thanks, babe.
Thanks for
That was
having me.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh my goodness. It's always awesome to have you on the show. Where can people find you?
Well, I am on my Instagram under actually.
We need to talk about
Shit, we
this.
didn't even talk about that. Okay, so
Fill 'em
I
in.
changed my Instagram from Kirk Saffle to the Accomplished Father, and that's kind of the brand and the step and the thoughts and everything I want to move forward is just connecting men to them to their visions of who they think they should be. And to me, that's being an accomplished father, whether that's for me, you know, I want to be even as I age, I want to be an athlete, a strong person, a person who climbs mountains and, you know, does difficult things while also playing music and just creating things and being a great friend and a great lover and a great father. You know, it's, you know, I'm kind of tied to this thought of becoming, because there's never any clear moment where you just are exactly what the future vision is. It's you decide today to take that step. And to me, the guys who do that are the accomplished fathers, or they're the accomplished people. They're the ones
that's what it truly actually means to be accomplished, right?
Yes,
like not just like, here's an award, or this is your salary, this is your career title. It's like, no, who are you inside? Like, who are you exhibiting to the world?
Yeah. And letting that deepest inner self drive action. And drive the result, you know? So that's what I want to help men do. So.
I love it so much. Okay. So the Accomplished Father on Instagram.
Yes. And so right now I'm just starting with one-on-one coaching.
Yeah.
And so we'll be building out a program, probably Facebook group, a few other things, putting out some freebies and whatnot out there.
Woo-hoo.
But yeah. And then besides that, Kirk Saffle on Spotify. I have an EP. I have some great songs, well produced on there. And that
Your
was
website?
my first step. Yeah. KirkSaffle.com.
Sweet.
And soon to be accomplishedfather.com.
Ha!
Because that's the next step. But yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited for you. I'm going to do incredible work in the world.
And I hope so. I want to just connect to a bunch of dudes. If you know anybody, if you know any guys that just are trying to take that next step to becoming to the next step of being that accomplished person that they know they are. If you know somebody who are just presenting 5% of what you know they're capable of doing, hey, just send them my way. And, I'm not saying it has to be one-on-one coaching. I just want to connect with folks. And if they want to dive deep and do something, make some dramatic change, of course, that's what one-on-one coaching is for. But I also want to provide some kind of service to where we can just help them start that process, give support, and move forward. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So exciting. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you all so much for listening to this podcast, for being here with me. Those of you who are watching this on YouTube and you get to see all of our silly antics. And if you're listening to this, you can see the entire video of this conversation and all the ridiculousness at YouTube on my channel, which is Happier in Motherhood. And as always, I am so grateful for all of you for being in this community. It is just such an honor to have you here, and I will see you next time. Bye.